On this episode of Getting Scarried Away, we discuss the 2020 horror comedy, Freaky. Originally titled Freaky Friday the 13th, this body swap slasher flick is a gory and hilarious good time. Rhiannon.
Hey!
Oh, Lord.
I don't know how your editing process works.
It's all good. This is different.
This is different. This is a very special episode. I feel like I'm very stiff. Maybe I should loosen up a little bit.
I'm loose. For those listening on, or those not watching us, rather, I should say, we have decided to film this episode.
Yes.
And yes, here's to you.
Cheers. Cheers.
As we cheers the camera. We have decided to film this episode because we're going to throw it up on our brand spanking new Patreon.
Because we're going to throw up all over you.
We're going to throw up. Yeah. Hope you're ready for that.
But yes, we're going to put it up on our Patreon. Do you want to give a little bit of details about the way we're going to do our Patreon?
Sure. Yeah, it's different than what we tried to do before. And we have decided that we're going to do just one tier, one solid cost. And that's going to be a kind of the one-stop shop for everything extra that you want from us. So there's going to be filmed episodes like this one you're watching. There's going to be
polls to vote on some of our future episode topics or whatever.
We're going to do some commentary tracks as well.
We might finally put that Turkish Delight video up.
Maybe. We may have to redo it because the video, we just look so different.
I'm not eating Turkish Delight again, so no.
Yeah, I don't know.
We can put it on as like a throwback. Maybe like our 1 year anniversary or something.
So that's kind of an idea of what we're up to. So check out the Patreon if that's something you are interested in.
Yeah, and
there'll be a lot more.
And if you're listening to this and you're not watching it,
we're both very naked.
We're super naked. It's a completely nude episode. No, I'm just kidding. This may sound a little bit different because it won't be, we won't be cutting out some pauses and stuff that we might normally cut out. So it's just going to be really raw, kind of like if you were to listen to a live episode.
Yeah, very minimal editing happening. So, oh boy.
So hopefully it doesn't sound like garbage.
We shall see.
But that also means that we're just going to get right into the content because sometimes we record for like an hour and a half and then we cut out all the nonsense. And so
we cut out all the
all the
eBay.
So we're just gonna get to it. And for those of you who are watching, you may get the fun opportunity to finally meet our cats because I'm sure at some point they will jump up on this table because they fucking hate us. So.
Yeah, they're the worst. We should have cleaned up beforehand, but off camera there's like a big Panera bag. There's like a Target bag somewhere. They're gonna get stuck and run around the whole apartment.
Yeah, I mean to be fair, we do not just leave trash all over the place, but Duchess finds comfort in bags. And so if we do get a paper bag, then we'll leave it for her because she likes to make a little home in it.
She's disgusting.
She is disgusting.
She loves her trash, but that's a different episode. We are very excited to talk about this movie because we have a history with this movie, I would say.
We do. So we are talking about the infamous Freaky.
Infamous for you.
Only infamous for me because we did start to record an episode on this
last year.
Yeah, well,
when it came out,
like the weekend it came out, we went to see it at the drive-in. Theaters aren't open for us, but the drive-in was open. And so we went to see it at the drive-in and we started to record an episode and I started to shit on it. And then I was like, well, maybe we shouldn't record an episode on this.
But it was funny because you weren't like planning to shit on it.
No, when we were watching it, I was like, I absolutely love this movie. Like, it's so good.
And it is. It's so much fun. It's such a blast.
But we've since watched it again.
Yeah.
We purchased the actual Blu-ray of it.
Proof of purchase.
Proof of purchase. So we purchased it and we've watched it and we've watched some additional like behind the scenes information and things like that. And so I think now, knowing what I know about it and having watched it again, I may not shit on it as much. There are definitely still things that I did not love about it, but it won't be as much of a shit fest.
Yeah, but we love a shit fest. But upon second watch, I think we gained a whole new appreciation for it. But yeah, there are maybe like one or two specific moments, which I think we'll get into, that were like a little, even on the second viewing, like they still didn't age that well. But,
not even age, because it's brand new. They just didn't land. Like it wasn't for us. It didn't land.
Which we'll get to. But if you have not seen Freaky, we'll keep the first part of this spoiler free, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just, pretty general. But if you're considering watching it, it's available now to rent, to purchase, obviously. And I would say it's worth it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you know what? I think that a perfect thing about it is if you like the Happy Death Day movies,
yes,
it's very comparable, but more violent.
Yeah, it was. It was done by Christopher Landon, who also directed Happy Death Day.
Wrote? Did he write Happy Death Day as well?
I should know this. I believe he might have been a co-writer. What the freaking heck?
Yeah. So he wrote Disturbia.
Oh no, it was written by Scott Lobdell.
Okay. Well, he wrote the movie Disturbia, and then he also wrote multiple Paranormal Activity sequels, 2, 3, and 4. And then he directed the Happy Death Day films.
I think it was 3, 4.
I'm reading it.
I thought he did the marked ones as well.
He did. You're right. So 2, 3, 4 he wrote, and then he wrote and directed the marked ones. It was separate in here.
Got it.
And then he directed Happy Death Day and Happy Death Day 2. And then he also directed Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse.
Another great film.
And
so much fun.
Freaky. So, I mean, Christopher Landon, he's absolutely incredible as a director. So much fun.
Yeah. Well, I think he's kind of found... or he's kind of created this like whole different avenue sort of with horror, especially when he did the Happy Death Day movies, because it's a whole different area of horror comedy, or you could even say comedy horror, because in my opinion, I think Freaky is more of a comedy than it is horror. It definitely succeeds at both for sure. And it's got both, but it I don't know, I think it was driven more from the comedy and sort of the hijinks of it all.
Yeah, well, I think it's kind of like I'm having a hard time because I don't really want to compare these two, but in the sense, I guess if people haven't seen it, to kind of compare it to like a classic slasher, it would be like Scream. Now again, I don't think that they're on the same playing field, but I do want to say, just because Scream is very self-aware, it is still very funny at parts, but it has those slasher elements that you want to see, and it has the violence and some really... I mean, one thing about this movie that I will say right off the bat is it has some really good kills.
Yes, it
does.
And
really unique kills.
For sure. Well,
some of them are not unique, but some, and that they're not good, but they're like
inspired by
older
existing
slashers. Yeah.
And you'll know, like, when you're watching the movie, you'll recognize, if you're a slasher fan, you'll probably recognize a lot of the different kills and what they're sort of referencing. But
Christopher Landon also went to a school that rejected me, so it's just like a personal connection that we have, except for he's better than me.
This is turning into a really weird all different. Okay, so that's why you hated this movie, is because you had a personal vendetta against Christopher Landon. It's all making sense.
I didn't hate the movie. I didn't hate it. There were just things that kind of like threw me.
Interesting. Okay, well,
but I wonder if this video is going to make people like us more or hate us.
Oh, they're going to despise us.
Yeah, they're going to say, Rhiannon, please put your hands down because I can't stop moving them. But this is genuinely like what we do when we're...
Yeah.
That's why I hit the mic so much. Because I throw my arms all around.
We also don't normally record in this setup. And if you're watching the video, you obviously see the setup. But normally we are sitting... It's so awkward.
We're sitting next to each other.
Shoulder to shoulder.
Not even looking at each other. And I'll like turn my head and be like, what do you think, Ricky?
Because we both go to the desk in our spare bedroom. And we're both just looking at the computer screen, like researching at the exact same time, but we're talking side by side to each other. It's so
But sometimes
weird.
we'll have like a webcam on so we can look at each other like in the webcam. So it's not like we're totally awkward.
Sure. Or like if we have a guest, like it makes sense for us to be there. But yeah, this feels right.
Oh, feels right.
It makes sense.
No, you want to get married? Booger.
What do you
Please
think?
don't sue us.
What? Why would we get sued?
I don't know. Are we allowed to
Quote the movie?
quote the movie?
I would hope so. We're about to embark on a whole...
Okay, you're right.
We have 50 minutes left.
All right, cool.
But yeah, don't sue us. So Freaky came out in 2020, released November 13th, 2020, directed by Christopher Landon, made $15.2 million at the box office, and its budget was $6 million. And it's a quick, it's an hour and 43 minutes, but I feel like it moves.
It does move. It feels quicker than an hour 43.
Mm-hmm. It currently sits at an 83% on Rotten Tomatoes,
which I think is pretty fair. Mm-hmm. Normally, I don't really agree with Rotten Tomatoes scores, which is like your Bible, but
sometimes
I'll be like, oh my gosh, let's watch the trailer for this. This looks good, and Ricky will look it up, and he'll be like, oh, it only got a 23 on Rotten Tomatoes, and I'm like, okay.
In my defense, there are some movies that are scored very, very low on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, hang on, let me look up one of my favorite movies. And then I will tell you what it currently sits at. All right, so this movie currently has a 16% on Rotten Tomatoes. Can you guess what it is? One of my favorites.
No.
Wes Craven's Cursed. It will always be one of my favorite films.
That deserves it.
Oh, incorrect. It deserves... If it could go higher than 100, I would give it like 103.
No, Ricky. You just are in love with Christina Ricci, so you have rose-colored glasses
You
on.
are so correct. I love Christina Ricci so much.
Okay. Back to Freaky, which has an 83% on Rotten Tomatoes, so much higher score than Cursed. One day we'll do Cursed. We'll do an episode on Cursed.
I can't freaking wait.
So essentially, the plot of this movie is Freaky Friday. Yeah, it's horror. Yeah.
It's you've seen this kind of body swap story before.
Yeah, it's like Freaky Friday, but it's also like I wouldn't have made this connection because I haven't seen it in a long time, but we watched James A. Janice on The Kill Count. Mm-hmm. And so it's very similar to a horror version of The Hot Chick because that's a male and female and like a kind of like gross male. No, not Rob Schneider, but like his character in the movie is like gross.
Yeah,
like he's supposed to be. And then this in that movie, popular girl, but in this movie, Millie, played by Catherine Newton, is not necessarily popular at all. She's pretty bullied actually, but she body swaps with Vince Vaughn, who is the Blissfield butcher.
Ah, spooky.
Mm-hmm.
It is cast very, very well, I'll say.
Yes.
And I know we're kind of jumping all over the place in the non-spoiler section, but we're trying to kind of give you like an overview before we dive deep into a lot of the substance of this movie.
Sure.
But yes, it is cast very, very well. I don't really think there's anybody out of place. Alan Ruck is there. I mean, he's awesome.
Yeah.
He's great.
He is. I mean, yeah, without spoiling it. Yeah. I mean, his character's a piece of shit, but he's great.
And just a lot of great people. But if we're gonna be real with y'all, I feel like Vince Vaughn just stole the show.
Yeah.
100%. Catherine Newton is obviously great. But
this is Vince Vaughn's movie.
Yeah.
I mean, so the thing is, though, Catherine Newton is great. Most of her acting in this, though, is physical.
Very physical and very calculated, very silent. She doesn't,
because for the majority of the movie, she doesn't have lines because she's
the butcher,
the Blissfield butcher.
Yeah, just kind of stalking his prey. But Vince Vaughn, when he's playing Millie, he's just, I mean,
he's perfect.
And it's interesting because we watched a lot of the behind the scenes, and we've watched a bunch of interviews and stuff, and the two of them, it sounds like they worked really, really well with each other off screen, and in rehearsals they spent a ton of time just figuring out, mannerisms and what each character does and how they move and like the really fine details of it all.
And it's really
cool. It totally did.
It showed for sure, because there were so many little things. I mean, right down to Millie's, like pushing her hair behind her ears. When Vince Vaughn was Millie, he would do that even though he didn't have hair. I mean, his hair was super short, and he would still do that, and he would like chew on his thumb. And there were just these little isms that he picked up as this character. And so they both kind of created both of these characters together so that they were sure that they could, do everything that the character embodied. And I think that that's a really important way to do it, because I feel like that's lost in some of these body swap movies.
Yeah, a lot of the time you see people kind of playing more generic
versions,
archetypes, sort of.
And I know, oh boy,
it's live.
I know that some people had said that they felt that Vince Vaughn, what the fuck? They felt that Vince Vaughn was playing like a generic teenager rather than the character of Millie. But I completely disagree with that. And trust me, I have my fair share of issues with this movie, but I definitely disagree, because I think that he was very specific, and I don't think that that's a very fair assumption to make, because in the very beginning, we only get 10 minutes of each of their characters
if
before
that.
They're swapped.
Yeah, I mean, really not a lot of time.
Yeah, and we really only see Catherine Newton as Millie getting bullied. So It's not like we can see a lot of her authentic personality.
We see a bit of it, like when she's at home. Again, we're not going to talk spoilers, but we get introduced to her sort of immediate circle, her family, her friends, and how she interacts with both of those groups.
Yeah.
So we do get a feel for who she is as a person and kind of what she goes through at school.
Yeah, but I don't even really feel like the beginning of her at home is a super fair, just because she's,
like we still don't.
She's sort of like suppressed by her family in a little bit of a way. Like she feels
she's closed off.
She feels trapped.
Yeah,
staying at home.
Sure. So and then with the butcher,
our little kitty.
Hello, little Dottie babes.
This is Dottie Minerva.
Dottie Minerva is a reference to Bob's Burgers. It's a name that's literally said one time, but
it's actually twice. Oh, he says, "What's your name?" And she says, "Dottie Minerva." And he says, "I hate it." And he gives her a new name. And then the other girl, he asks, "What's your name?" And she says her name, and he says, "I hate it. You'll be Dottie Minerva."
Now everyone's caught up. So
it's the episode where the kids make a casino in the basement.
Yes, the kids run the restaurant, I think.
Sure.
I think that's like the literal title.
Yeah.
Anyways, where were we? Oh, the butcher. So I was going to bring up the butcher. So, we kind of get a feel for who Millie is and everything, but there's still a lot to find out about her, and we don't fully have a fleshed out character completely yet, which I think is intentional. Like we aren't meant to have a fully explored and realized character just yet. It's 10 minutes into the fucking movie. So same thing with the butcher. He's a very stoic Michael Myers meets Jason Voorhees behemoth who's very silent and calculated and just crashing through walls and just, he's scary. And that's all we really see. That's all we really need to know, I guess. But
yeah, exactly. And it's just very clear that he is just this giant. I mean, Vince Vaughn is a giant.
Yeah, I think he's like 6'5" or something.
Yeah, he's very tall, very, he's just a stacked person.
He's stacked.
He's stacked. And so his body type, and then you add this anger behind it and this like a little bit of silent psycho type thing.
Yeah, it's a scary dude.
Yeah, that's really scary. So just his body language alone makes him terrifying. We never hear him speak as the butcher in the beginning.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think we hear him say anything.
No, and then we see him make the switch to Millie, and it's just perfect. And I think that that's the biggest contrast is because of the way he is in the beginning as the butcher and then the way he is as Millie.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's meant to really kind of freak us, the audience, out and like show us, the feeling of confusion and that sort of, and I think it succeeds in that.
But I think that the reason we might have been so taken with him is because the Millie that we got from Catherine Newton in the beginning, because it was that kind of suppressed version of her, it wasn't as big of a contrast when she turned to the butcher. And then, of course, it grew as the film went on, but it wasn't as big of a contrast because Catherine Newton, playing both roles, was very calm even throughout the transition. Like in the beginning, she was a calm, shy character. And then as the butcher, she was still calm. And so I think taking that major, major contrast with Vince Vaughn and then seeing the like only slight contrast with Catherine Newton.
Yeah.
And then, of course, like I said, we watched her grow a little bit more throughout the film as that character. But I think that that's why Vince Vaughn like really did it for us.
Yeah, for sure. Agreed.
And just because we love him. He's
True.
Just great.
He can do no wrong. Assault on Precinct 93. Is that what the movie's called?
No. I think it's Attack in Cell Block 99.
And wait, I totally named a completely different movie.
What did you say? Assault on Cell Block 93?
No, Assault on Precinct 13 is what I was thinking of, which is another great movie, but not the one I was thinking. But yeah, what's that Vince Vaughn movie?
I think it's something Brawl in Cell Block 99.
Cell Block 9. Yep, that's the one. Violent as fuck, but if you're into like sort of like a noir, I think it's like they described it as like a neo noir.
It's quite long.
It's quite long. It's
over 2 hours.
2 hours and 12 minutes. Yeah.
Very violent.
Super violent. Intentionally so. Like it's meant to kind of give you some.
I did recommend it to my parents because it's a pretty good movie, and it's not scary per se.
No, it's a thriller.
But I recommended it to them, and I said, I do want to warn you, it is pretty violent. And I think Ricky and I are just so used to seeing, I mean, we've definitely seen more violent things, but there are some elements specifically of that movie that it is just like very, very violent.
Yeah.
And when they watched it, my stepmom called me and she was like, why would you recommend that movie to us? That was so violent. It was disturbing. But
sorry about it.
Yeah.
Nope, not Wes Craven's Cursed. Where is Freaky? There's Freaky. So I think we've kind of covered enough territory, would you say? And so that we can now get into some of the spoilies.
Mm-hmm. So
again, check out the movie if you can. It's a lot of fun, a lot of great kills, a lot of great humor, and a lot of heart. And I think you'll probably enjoy it.
This is the point where we're going to get into spoilers.
Yes,
so
indeed.
If you have not seen the film, go watch it and then come back to this moment.
Yes. All right. Welcome back. You watched Freaky. How was it?
Yeah.
A little pause.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh,
all right.
we're glad. Everyone's like, we fucking hated it. And we're like, good.
Yeah. The hard cut.
Now it doesn't make sense because now they can see that there's no audience.
Oh, no. Oh, shit.
Love it.
So, holy shit, these kills. Let's just talk about the kills first.
Yeah, well,
because I can't wait a single second more.
Okay, you're going to have to wait one more second because the very first thing that I want to say, and it's only because it's just a little thing, is that Catherine Newton is a fucking babe.
Oh, smoke show.
A straight up, she's a piece.
Fuck you.
Hey, she says it in the movie.
How in the world
she's
dare
a piece.
you? Oh.
She really is. She looks so good.
She does.
And honestly, all throughout the movie, so I don't know what it is with movies being like, oh, that girl's ugly, and then they like put their hair in a ponytail and they're like off. Yeah, but like she didn't have glasses, so we weren't seeing any big reveal of her makeover. But in this case, it was kind of reverse because, you know, the old movie trope is like girls wearing her hair in a ponytail and she's got glasses on, and in this movie she puts her hair up in a ponytail, and I really like that. But
interesting.
She, in the very beginning, I think she's absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
I think she's just an incredibly gorgeous human to begin with. And then, you know, in this film, she's really great. She has like this feathered hair. It's absolutely gorgeous. And then, of course, when she's the Blissfield Butcher, her hair's up in a ponytail and she's wearing this kick-ass red leather jacket and she just looks really good.
And I love when Millie, as in Vince Vaughn's body, says, I love what he's doing. Like, I love how he's dressing me. Like,
yeah,
he does have some great style.
He says, I do like some of what he's doing. Yeah. Like, she's talking to Booker and she's like, do you like it? Never mind. I'm sorry. You just woke up. I just threw a lot.
You look great.
You look great. Oh my God. That part.
Okay, Booker, can you just...
Yeah. Okay, Booker. Can you just listen? That was my favorite part of the movie.
It's so good.
I think that was just so fun. I'm throwing a lot at you, and I know that you just woke up. Just the way that Vince Vaughn like breathed in that moment. He was just very clearly a girl with a crush that was just word vomiting all over her crush. Yeah, whatever.
I think the cat is trying to destroy the apartment.
Oh, no, she's playing with a spring. A toy spring. A toy spring. Yeah.
I'm like, what machine is broken down?
We just have springs laying. Besides this area, our apartment is literally a hoarder's nightmare.
If you see things just start to spark,
no,
don't be alarmed.
No. Okay. So now focusing back onto the kills.
Yes.
Let's do it because some of these were absolutely incredible. First, tell me your favorite kill.
Sure. I think my favorite. Oh, it's between the buzzsaw and the table saw and the
wine bottle
with the bag. Yeah, and the wine bottle. I think it has to be the wine bottle because for the first kill of the movie,
it honestly is just like setting the bar so high.
Yeah. Oh, for real.
In the cold open.
Yeah.
And
it lands. It's really
it's
strong.
Gnarly.
But also Christopher Landon's movies prior to this were both the Happy Death Day films, and they were both PG-13. So there was only so much he could do with blood and gore.
Yeah, I think the R rating for Freaky really was favorable.
Leaned into that hard R for sure.
But then I think that they needed it because I do not think that this movie would have been as effective or even maybe effective at all to me if it wasn't.
I'm sure. Well, I do think it probably would have been fine. It would have been, still a very fun movie. But are you sure?
Dot, come here.
We want to maybe ixnay on the ag bay.
Yeah, she's coming.
Is that Pig Latin? But yes, I do think that this movie definitely benefited from having that R rating.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, like I was saying, Happy Death Day, both of those movies, they were still like really, really fun. And they did their job. They did what they intended to do. I do wonder what they would have been like if they had a hard R. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Would it have to be a hard R or just a regular R?
Oh, no soft R's here.
No soft R ratings?
No, that's okay. Weenie Hut General.
Weenie Hut Jr.?
Yeah.
Okay. So I agree. I think my favorite kill was probably also the wine bottle. But I really appreciated a lot of the kills that like were representative of some really like classic kills in
like
slashers.
The little like nods to other movies.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't know, maybe it's not directly, but the cryotherapy machine of her being like smashed on the floor of Jason in space.
That's what I thought of too.
I mean, it's the only other movie that I've ever seen that's done that.
Jason X. It's not Jason Goes to Space. We always call it Jason Goes to Space in our household, but
well, because that's what it is. Right. But Jason X,
for all intents and purposes.
Yeah. So
we have like little names for movies.
Yeah, I guess like not everybody's in on our. But you know what? Then I forget that they're just our thing.
Yeah.
That we call it. I think that that's like the real name of it.
It's fair.
But so I thought that one was really cool. Obviously, the Halloween.
Yeah, the Michael Myers.
Pinning the girl up onto the wall and then doing the Michael Myers head tilt. That was just amazing.
Yeah.
But there were so many things. There were Friday the 13th kills. There were like kills that were reminiscent of Scream, maybe with the hook.
I think that was another Friday reference.
Okay, maybe.
But there's a great watch the kill count. James A. Janice on Dead Meat does a really, really good kill count video for this.
Yeah, of course. I mean, any movie that we talk about, watch the kill count because
yeah, for sure.
He's probably done it.
But he does kind of point out a bunch of the films that these are that some of these kills tie to. So yeah, check that out for sure.
Yeah, and if you end up I don't know if you'd have any way to do it if you rented it, but if you end up purchasing a Blu-ray of this, or if you rent a Blu-ray of it, like if you have a physical copy, watch some of the deleted scenes because there is this one particular incredible scene that I cannot believe did not make the final cut.
I was so pissed.
And it's of Catherine Newton in the bathtub.
As Millie.
Yeah. And she's kind of having this, she's falling asleep or just resting her eyes or something in the bathtub, and the Blissfield Butcher's hand like comes up
from off screen,
and so it's obviously a nod to Friday the 13th or
Nightmare on Elm Street.
I don't know why I was gonna say Freddy's Five Nights at Freddy's is what I was originally gonna say. Because we were just watching that thing about
the Willy's Wonderland
right before this. And then I had Freddy Krueger, whatever. Nightmare on Elm Street. I fucked up and you can't even edit that out, so everyone's gonna know how fucking stupid I am.
In the world dare you?
It's funny because Nightmare on Elm Street is my favorite franchise also, so I can't believe I messed that up.
And it was funny after we saw this movie at the drive-through drive-in.
We watched it at the McDonald's drive-through.
We sat in the line and held everybody up, and they're all freaking out, and we're just
for an hour and 8 minutes, 43 minutes.
But we saw it at the drive-in, and then the next week we went to go see,
Possessor.
No, I'm thinking when we went to go see. Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th at the drive-in.
Yeah. Gosh, we spent so much time at the drive-in this past year because of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm. It was a godsend. But anyway, actually, while we're on the topic, why don't we talk about what it was like upon first viewing when we saw it at the drive-in? Because I know you had some thoughts. THOT, yes.
I had some thoughts with me when I saw it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so first, I do just want to say that completely my fault. We missed the audio of the first kill of the wine bottle kill when we watched it at the drive-in because I don't know what I think I was trying to turn up the volume, but it was so dark in my car that I ended up like turning the other dial, which changed the radio station.
It was my car, and you didn't know how you mistook the radio dial tuner, for the volume. Yeah.
So we missed the volume of the entire first kill. Like the entire audio. And Ricky, you would have thought that I just like told Ricky, oh, Dot left a whisker.
Oh, good.
You
sign up for our Patreon and you might get Dot's whisker.
We'll mail it to you. You would have thought that I just like told Ricky that I committed a murder. He was like, what have you done? Like, we missed the audio for the first kill. He was like, this whole movie is going to be ruined. No, it wasn't that dramatic, but kind of.
Okay. But yeah, I think when we saw it for the first time, you and I had different thoughts about it, but you weren't sure about it, which I find interesting.
Yeah, I think even as I was watching it, I was like, okay. Oh my God, she's so obsessed with me.
It's whenever we're not paying attention to her is when she's just like,
but she's
love me.
Yeah, I mean, anytime I'm sitting down, especially if I'm in front of my computer, she's like, did you need me? Did you need my assistance? So I wasn't sure about it even as we were watching it. There were some things I got really turned off by a couple of lines early on in the movie, particularly one character, the character of Josh, who is one of Millie's best friend, is this openly gay and openly like sex positive character, which is absolutely incredible. Awesome. You know, like I think that it was very effective in a lot of ways. And then there were like 3 lines where it was really bothersome. Like right off the bat, we had just met him and Millie, you know,
she ran into like a neighbor.
Yeah, she ran into the neighbor and he like yelled out the window and he was holding like his dachshund and she was like, and he yelled out, I like your black wiener. And I was like, okay. I was like,
that's interesting.
This is the very first introduction to this character. And I was like, you know, it would have been kind of funny if he like made that joke to his friends in the car, but like yelling it out to this older neighbor was just like a little.
And the neighbor's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. So that was the first thing. And then immediately after, when they get to school, he starts talking about how he wants to go to homecoming to prey on straight guys who realize they're fluid after they.
Yeah,
you wrote down the line.
He said, "I'm here for the." What did I write?
Oh, you good?
She's just gonna drive me up a wall. He said like, I'm here for the straight boys who suddenly realize they're fluid. And then Nyla says to him, that sounds kind of rapey. And then he replies, good.
Yeah. Oh? And so immediately I was like, okay, fuck this character. Like it was just,
I'm going to get rid of that bag.
Okay. It was just really, I'm going to keep going because Ricky can still hear me, even though he's off camera. I don't know. It was just really not something that I was super into. Like, I immediately hated his character. Maybe if I had already kind of grown a liking for his character, or we had built like this, you know, love for his character early on, and then that came later, maybe those lines I would have like gotten his humor a little bit more.
Yeah.
But having that right in the beginning of the movie, I was like, no, fuck this character. Like I don't.
Well, and it's also, it's like not out of, it's not totally unusual for slasher film characters to be, I guess, unlikable. Like it's
True.
It's not uncommon for some of them to just be assholes who later, when they get killed off, it's like, yes, they sucked. But it's pretty clear that this movie wants us to root for Millie's immediate cluster.
Yeah.
Her family and her friends. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, that was a little, it was definitely bothersome.
Yeah. And then
it just put a bad taste in my mouth.
Even in the second watch, like we knew the lines were coming and we were like, ugh. But then we watched the like behind the scenes stuff about it, and they kind of justified why they did it. Still doesn't make me like it, but it makes me realize why he made the character the way he did, I guess.
Yeah.
Still don't like those lines.
Right.
But other aspects of his character, I was like, okay, I can see, like why he did it this way. Nyla's character, I absolutely loved.
Yeah, she was awesome.
I don't think, I think so often the best friend is like the lesser than to the main character.
In
sometimes.
What way?
Like in other films, like they just make them like a background character.
Oh, so they just don't have as much importance?
Maybe not as much importance, but like not as much depth.
Okay.
And I didn't feel like that with Nyla. Like I felt like she had her own very strong personality, a lot of depth to her. Mm-hmm. I think that a lot of that could probably be credited to Celeste O'Connor.
I feel like, for sure. Her performance was fantastic. Mm-hmm. I feel like a lot of these characters are pretty well fleshed out.
Oh, absolutely.
I think maybe, and I hate to say this, and I think we'll get into it maybe a little later, but I feel like Charlene
sucks.
Was maybe
Charlene
not
sucks.
The strongest character.
But you know what? I would be curious to just kind of like sit down with Christopher Landon and be like, so why did she suck so bad? Like, why was she such a shitty cop?
Well, it just seemed so out of, like, I don't know. Everybody else in this movie seemed to have like their shit together. Well, I mean, obviously everyone's flawed in their own way. Like everyone's got their own sort of struggle and conflict, but like, I don't know. It seemed like Charlene was just like a wild card. Like you never knew what was going to happen when she was on screen. Is she going to fire her gun into the air? Is she going to point her gun at her face when she realizes it's not loaded? Like,
so when I first watched this movie, I was like, maybe they're trying to make her like Dewey. Like how
maybe
how Dewey is. I mean, he's kind of. He's tripping over himself.
He's got his own, battles.
So I was thinking, well, maybe, they're trying to take this approach because it is like a small town sheriff's office and they're getting this like killer and she's still kind of like new to being a cop. I'm not really sure where they were trying to go with it, mm-hmm. but it just made her look like an incompetent. And this is not me like trying to say that this is the way things are, but for how like female empowered of a movie this is, it made her look like a shitty female cop who didn't know what she was doing. And I felt like all of the other female characters in this were so empowered and so badass, like even the mom by the end.
Yeah, the mom's arc is really, really strong.
She was just the same all the way throughout. Even at the end, she didn't redeem herself because she was like fucking pointing the gun at herself and didn't realize there weren't bullets in it. And then Millie ended up making the final kill. And I think that, I don't know, she didn't really do anything for me except make me say, what? Like I have no training and I probably could have been a better cop in this situation. And I have no formal law enforcement training.
What the fuck? It blew my mind.
Especially the two major things, and then I'll stop talking about her because I think there are more important things. But the two major things was the fact that, one, she sees her sister on the football field getting stabbed, and instead of shooting at this attacker, she shoots up in the air, which the first time we saw this, I defended it when we were in the car. I said, well, maybe she didn't shoot at the Blissfield Butcher because she thought that she might hit Millie or she didn't have a clean shot, whatever. So I was like, okay, totally fine. But then later, she points the gun at Nyla and then she just fucking starts like shooting in an enclosed space. First of all, everybody would be fucking deaf from the amount of gunshots, and like the bullet could ricochet. Like bullets have to go somewhere.
So much could have gone wrong.
It was just, there were a couple more things that happened that I was like, yeah, I'm not going to defend her. Like this isn't redeemable.
Charlene, get it together.
Get your shit together. And I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say that was like Dana Jory's fault or
no,
I
don't think it was
any testament to like her acting.
Yeah.
But it was just, she was not the character for us. And I don't think that we were alone in thinking that.
Just some, some weird missteps. But yes, we talked a little bit about the kills. We talk about the movie.
You're just doing a quick recap of what we talked about?
Yeah, you wouldn't guess what time we're at right now?
Probably like 45 minutes.
45 minutes. That's why I'm like,
so good.
Where do we go from here?
No, I mean, yeah, like this is just our show to talk about talking. This is what a podcast is. Welcome to a podcast. This is what it is. It's people talking.
This is the only podcast, and you're listening / watching it.
We invented podcasting.
We are missing an A in our sign, by the way. We didn't point it out, but if you're watching the video, you can see it says Getting Scarried Away because
it says Getting Scarried Away. It's an upside down V for our second A in a way, and that's because the company we bought the sign from only gave us 2 of each letter.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of multiples in the words Getting Scarried Away, so we were running thin.
Oops. So go ahead.
I just wanted to explain maybe we can explain a couple of where other things are from in case people like them and they want to buy them really quick.
Oh, sure. Sure.
These are like not ads, but some people we didn't really explain anything about our set.
Yeah. And this is not going to be our permanent setup, but this is our first go at a little, set.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are just some really cool, unique things that we have that people might be wondering about where they can find them.
Yeah.
So this little Living on the Rocks flag that we have here is from a local company called Oxford Pennant.
Mm-hmm.
They are local to Buffalo, but I believe they have a website, so you can probably find it anywhere. And they have way more than just this one.
Mm-hmm.
And then this little print up here is from Nickel City Con, which is the Comic-Con of the Buffalo area.
Yeah.
You cannot get that because it already happened. And it's signed by Dan Morris, who made our logo.
Mm-hmm.
And who is an incredible designer, and he also did the artwork for this poster, which is why
it might be a little bit out of frame. I'm not sure, but
okay. Well, it's a Nickel City Con and Thursday Night Terrors, which is Peter from the Theater runs Thursday Night Terrors, and so we've talked about Peter from the Theater before as well.
Have, yeah.
And then this Tales from Rugsville, we have a couple of them, and I don't remember where it's from, but it's really excellent. So while you look it up, I'm going to tell you, and then our little mugs are from Slow Burn Studios, which Patrick Galanti talked about a little bit of, Slow Burn Studios is his company that he runs as well.
Mm-hmm.
And if there are any still available, I'm not sure. We're recording this on Saturday and this episode's going to be released on Monday. So it's kind of a weird thing, but I posted on our Instagram that Slow Burn Studios, they're doing a fundraiser starting at noon on Sunday. So I don't know if by Monday any of their candles will be left, but if they are, head over to there. All of the proceeds from this special candle is going to their friend who is kicking cancer's ass, stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. So definitely check that out.
Absolutely. And to answer your question, it is Theater of Creeps that did this Tales from Rugsville poster, and there are many other offerings on their website. Awesome artwork, really, really cool stuff. Go check them out for sure.
And then the very last thing, this little candle in the middle, is from Witches of Wax.
Rhiannon loves a plug.
I do.
I love that we were in the middle of talking about the movie, and then Rhiannon's like, oh.
Well, you started talking about our set, and then I was like, oh my God, we never explained any of this set.
That's true.
And so, for those of you who are not watching this video, I'm sorry for the last 3 minutes because you didn't see any of it, but maybe we'll post a little teaser or something on our Instagram so you can at least see the types of things we're talking about.
True.
But back to the movie.
Back to Frucky.
People do ads. They interrupt their talking for ads, right?
Yeah.
Those were not ads.
Not at all.
But they're people that we like and appreciate and we want to give credit to.
So we're talking about Fruki.
Fruki, the movie with Vance Vin.
Yes, and Catherine Newton plays Millie Shapiro.
Oh my God. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, this it's tough because I think we pretty much you know what I did want to mention is this movie looks gorgeous. It is like shot so well. And the lighting especially, holy shit. Like there were moments when I found myself just like drooling at this lighting.
Yeah. Well, you even said it when we were watching it after we had gotten the Blu-ray. You were like, this lighting is gorgeous.
Yeah. It just looks, it's so well realized and thought out. But
it is, and especially,
I'm getting choked up talking
there
about
are some, I just like burped into the microphone. So
this is all live.
Yeah,
and it's going to be so weird putting this out.
I know. I love it. People are going to get to know our authentic selves.
That's right. I guess that's like what people want or something.
Yeah. I guess that's like why people listen to podcasts of people talking. I have no idea.
Whatever.
So one thing, especially to basically applaud this whole team on is I guess the visuals, because there are some scenes in this film that are really hard to make look good. Like the whole scene where they're in the glow golf, like the glow mini golf haunted house type thing. It's really hard to make like a glow in the dark and black light driven area look like that's what it is.
Yeah.
But still being able to see the faces of the actors and stuff like that. Like that's a very fine balance to try to tune into.
Yeah.
And they nailed it.
They did. And it's hard to like have it lit that way and not mess with the camera. Like, because a lot of times, like, but obviously we're dealing with professionals here and they know what they're doing. But it just looks.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what you get when you have like a $6 million budget. Like you can
like hire people and like equipment, I guess. But
yeah,
fucking whatever.
Also, I'm so sorry, but speaking of people that they hired for this movie, the special effects were
crazy,
unmatched. Like I'm literally speechless about it because I think he said that all of the kills were practical. Right?
Well, yeah, he said he wanted to do everything practical. I don't think he said if there were anything
if all
anything
of them
was CG,
were.
but I didn't spot any CG.
But you know what?
Except for like when the butcher stabs Millie and like all of a sudden they're on top of like a fucking
the sky
pyramid.
Opens up
But as far as like blood and gore,
you mean they weren't? They didn't control the weather and this. They weren't on a pyramid.
No, I'm really sorry.
My disbelief was suspended.
Yeah. So, no.
Oh no.
Jeez. But yeah, everything else was like super duper practical and bloody and gross, and it was awesome. I mean, I don't know how they pulled off that bottle kill in the beginning. But
I would be curious. I don't know. I mean, I guess it could be practical because they could have used a dummy, of course.
Well, obviously, they're not going to shove a bottle down a poor kid's throat.
No, I understand that. But I was thinking, just like in the beginning, I was thinking that maybe they did put like something in his mouth and just, how sometimes they do like the green screen effects like around.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe people don't know that. We are like total nerds and watch so much behind the scenes on how they do these kinds of things. But I don't know. I guess that they probably would have built like some sort of body double to make that happen and then just rigged it with blood. And
yeah.
I know that they built an entire body
of Alan Ruck. No, I almost said Alan Rickman.
They built an entire body of Alan Ruck for that kill scene of the teacher. Like, and they literally they rigged the body with blood and the table to spew blood, and they really pushed this body. I can't even, they had to have done that in one take. I can't imagine putting that body back together unless it was easily separatable.
Well, I'm sure that shot or that scene, I don't know, just that whole, it leads me to believe that that moment probably was like all day filming days because of what had to go into it. Just the setup and all that kind of stuff.
Just that one little scene.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the...
But I guess they would have had to do multiple takes because there were multiple camera angles. Yeah. So that body must have been... They must have built it in a way that it was easy to put together.
For sure.
Maybe not easy, but it was possible.
The big thing, I mean, with any slasher is just cleaning up all of the blood and then going back to Mark 1 and then doing the whole scene again. And then, yeah, it's... Doing a slasher film is work. And it's a lot of work, but it looks like this cast really had a ton of fun with each other, and it didn't seem like they were like bothered that they had to be in this movie. Like you can sometimes tell when you can kind of like see behind the curtain a little bit when a movie's just like a cash grab and actors on screen are just like not fully into it and they're just, there to cash a check. But like this, you could tell everybody who was involved on and off screen, people were just having a blast with it. It's just great material.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it was just, do you remember his name who built the...
I'm looking it up, but he also, I mean, he worked on, gosh, what was the movie before this one that he worked on?
Happy Death. Did he do Happy Death Day?
I think he did Happy Death Days. Phooey. It's gonna bug me. But anyway, if he comes up, it's funny because when we were watching the behind the scenes, like this guy has worked. Like he's been involved with many a slasher, but he he was getting interviewed for the behind the scenes stuff, and he's just like the sweetest guy, and it's so funny to me. Like the people who are responsible for just the most gruesome, terrible things on screen are just the most down to earth and sweet, beautiful people. I love that. I love that about horror.
But he his very first, I guess, like introduction to horror, wasn't he played a zombie in Michael Jackson's Thriller music video, which I think is just like really cool and really special, and I think that's awesome. Okay.
I can't find his name and it's really going to bug me, but if I can find it, I will flash it on the screen right now.
Right now.
And if you're listening, I don't know what to tell you.
Epics now. But the soundtrack was Bear McCreary, which I know.
Love me some Bear McCreary.
The special visual effects that I found were Bob Shelley, Oliver Taylor, and Andre Freitas. Do you think it was any of those names is who we were trying to think of?
Yes. I'm just going to go with a hard YES.
We just want to give all the credit where credit is due.
Right. I mean, yeah. But anywho, yeah, this movie looks beautiful. It sounds beautiful. And like we mentioned earlier, it's really, really perfectly cast and huge, enormous 6'5" kudos to Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, and I think he won awards for this performance.
Did he?
Yeah, he won I think, let's see. Critics' Choice.
Oh.
He won on January 10th of 2021.
Very good.
And Catherine Newton was also nominated. And then he won Best Actor and Best Villain in a Movie at the HNID Awards, which I don't know what those are, but
nice.
He won those awards,
good
which
for him.
I think very well deserved.
Very well deserved. Absolutely agree. But if you've made it this far and you haven't seen Freaky, I'm sorry that we've spoiled a whole bunch of it. I mean, there's so much that we didn't talk about that, I think it's still worth watching this movie. But
yeah, actually, I feel like we didn't even like do that much of a deep dive. There was just so much to say about the specific things that we did talk about. And those were the things that we really wanted to say.
But I think we covered a lot in the non-spoiler section too.
Yeah. I'd say overall it was a very enjoyable movie.
Yeah. A lot of fun.
It's one that I would throw on to watch again, especially, you know, like while I'm doing things, or even just to like, if we can't think of what, because we run into that all the time. We're like, you know, if we'll sit down, if we want to watch a movie while we're eating dinner or something like that, which we've been really bad about doing all the time during the pandemic. But if we want to do that, I'll be like done with my dinner by the time Ricky picks anything to put on. But this would be a movie that I would definitely, you know, just throw on if we were trying to think of something else to watch.
Yeah, for sure. It's just a really fun time, and there's something for everybody in this movie. But
there are very special elements about it. You know, I think that we've mentioned them, but the kills, the soundtrack, the visuals,
the humor is also like, it's a lot of fun, like really, really well written humor.
Yeah.
Some of it is it just, again, like we mentioned earlier, some of it doesn't quite land. But there, you know what? We didn't even fucking mention the oh my gosh, Booker, the scene with Booker and Millie in the back of the cop car.
Oh, yeah, not in the back of the cop car, in the back of their car.
Oh boy.
Yeah, in the back of Ricky.
What?
You hit the mic.
Oh no.
Yeah, in the back of the car, and when they were like having their first kiss, that was hilarious.
So funny. So funny. Also like super tender and super sweet.
Yeah, it was really sweet.
I really loved that.
I also wanted to mention, because I said it to you beforehand, the group of like female bullies led by, what was her name? Ryler?
I can't remember.
I think it was Ryler.
She's like Miranda Cosgrove Jr.
She's super tiny. But they do this thing in movies, and I don't know if, you know, these people have like never encountered real bullies, or if they've just like, if they're trying to make them caricatures of people. But I specifically said to Ricky, in that scene where Ryler comes over and she does the like, that's a total like Mean Girls type thing, because she says, oh my God, I love your whatever, where'd you get it?
I think I saw it at like a Discount Warehouse or something, like bullshit.
Discount Bonanza, which is where her mom works. But that's like a direct line from Mean Girls, was, oh my God, I love your blank, where'd you get it? But she's sitting there having this conversation, and then her whole little cool girl posse is over there, and the one girl is like leaning on her friend with her elbow on this other girl's shoulder, just looking like a fucking model, but also just like leaning on her friend. And I said to Ricky, I've never leaned on my friend while my other friend was talking to somebody else. Like, that's not normal. Like, I've leaned up against a locker.
Clearly you've never been a successful bully then, because that's what all of them have to do.
Yeah.
It's bully 101.
And those girls were like, none of them had lines. They were just like stock characters of bully posse. And then they basically like never came back.
Well, hey, whatever.
Ryler came back, and then she got murdered.
She got froze
and smashed.
We should watch Jason X tonight.
I'm
going to watch Jason X tonight. Okay. Audience, will you join me? Thank you.
No, we hate that one.
Audience? All right. All right.
Shit.
I think we've hit our limit on our audience response
our
today.
Audience participation?
Yes. So
our live studio audience is
yes.
right here.
Welcome. They're all off screen.
They're all, you can't see them. So that's it, right?
So that's about it. This
is the shit that we normally cut out. So we're really sorry for those of you who are just listening and you're not going to be taking part in our Patreon and watching this. But we hope that you enjoyed our very first go at recording a live episode. Hopefully it'll make you like us more. Maybe it'll make you hate us.
Just like us.
Or maybe you'll be like, why does Rhiannon not move her shoulders for the entire time? I don't know what I was doing. Like, I just felt like I wasn't moving naturally because I didn't want to like I don't know, have a wardrobe malfunction, which I don't know how I would with this outfit that I'm wearing. I'm not sure. I'm very self-conscious. So moving on.
That's for, you got to pay a little extra on the Patreon for the wardrobe malfunction.
Shit, because we said in the beginning of this that we're
just doing one tier.
No,
just totally one.
we said that this was a totally nude episode.
Yeah, fully nude.
Now we're not getting anybody because they know that we're clothed and there was no wardrobe malfunction.
Damn it. Well, but next stop, OnlyFans for us.
This OnlyFans / Getting Scarried Away. This was really fun for us.
Yeah.
It was the first time I've put on makeup, like real makeup and not special effects type makeup in a while. So thanks for, letting me live my life.
Are you saying that to me or the people watching? Listening?
The real fans.
All right. They're out there.
Yeah.
Audience? Dot flipped the fucking bag.
We said audience. It was completely silent and Dot just slapped a paper bag.
Alrighty.
So we have been... I have been Rhiannon. I was gonna say we have been getting scarried away, and then I decided that we have to do like our normal sign off. So we have not been Rhiannon. I have been Rhiannon,
and I have been Rhiannon, and you have just watched or listened to
a very rough but very fun.
Listen, thank you for putting up with us. We appreciate you. Thank you for being here with us. Also,
normally we'll do multiple takes of like starting off the podcast.
Yeah.
This one, we just went for it because we were filming and we're like, well, that's all there is to it. So
yeah, that's
thanks.
all.
If you have made it this far, thank you for being true fans. We hope it was really fun.
Yes. As the adage goes, thank you for being a friend. And folks, you know what to do.
Eat your vegetables.
And get good sleep.
Bye.
So long.